were so pissed that dudes were picking male characters that they said this female character here, this shit right here, nigga, this bitch can't change, has no male counterpart. She can't change genders. Take that, trans community. This bitch can't change genders. Oh, that's funny. That was made by woke people, though. Since it's been so long, I've been thinking about Assassin's Creed in the back of my mind, right? Like Assassin's Creed Shadow what's any news with that? But it took me until now to realize that YouTube wasn't even like suggesting the Assassin's Creed videos, like the current updates with or what's going on about it. It wasn't even suggesting that shit to me. So I had to go to a certain YouTuber's channel itself and see if they did any other videos on it. And I found one that was done a couple of days ago. More than a couple of days ago, like over 10 days ago. But anyway, here, let me show you. See, what I wanted to check out first today is, bam, exclusive Ubisoft insider exposes as Assassin's Creed Shadows plus Isuke Erased lies, remakes, and more. So I didn't notice that. Also, this came out 13 days ago. Like, damn, I really missed this one. I did notice that some of the art or merch, the merch art, not merch art, but like, you know, the sales art for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I did notice that a lot of it had changed. There's like no Yasuke on the cover anymore. And so I was like, well, are they just trying to, you know, highlight the other female character in the game for now? Since like the closer it gets to being released, like they just, all right, let's switch it up. Now let's highlight her. Or what's up? But apparently they actually said that they deleted Yasuke, and you know everything about him in the game. They apparently said they deleted it. Now apparently it's a lie. So Yasuke is still here and around, and everything that's wrong with the game is still wrong with the game. They're just trying to be like, hey, there's nothing wrong with the game, we promise. And then, you know, fool you into playing the game or buying or wasting money. But before we get into this video, this reaction, as always, do you like my shirt? It's Zim and Gur in space, obviously. But let's get to the reaction. Let's do this. It's been a minute. As always, link to the video and link to the channel will both be in the description below. So be sure to check out ENDYMIONtv. And yeah. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your boy's trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So let's do it.
Hey everyone, today I got a video about some really weird and troubling things from places like Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Shadows and more.
Yo, what up?
I talked to an insider at Ubisoft who has now spilled quite a bit to me, so let me tell you all about what they told me. We're going to talk Shadows, Hex, and even Far Cry 7, and even how some of these creatives are running away in fear. And there's some YouTubers that are unfortunately calling for violence against Japanese people and more that'll be covered in this video.
Oh, you know this?
I vetted this person.
Yeah,
They've been at Ubisoft for quite a while, and they reached out to clarify things to me and give me more insight into what's going on at the company. Firstly, they wanted to ensure that everyone knows that Shadows was not made by the main Ubisoft studio.
I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, and night, by the way.
Ubisoft Montreal has effectively worked on every single Assassin's Creed game in some way. They are considered the main Ubisoft studio.
Okay,
but the ones that are working on Shadows as the leads is Ubisoft Quebec, which, as my insider told me, was mostly a support studio for a really long time.
I said I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Or whatever, by the way. Also, so what he says is that Ubisoft Montreal is like the main one, and they had no part in what's going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So it's kind of odd, right? Because if Ubisoft or Ubisoft, however you want to say it, if their main station or whatever is not working on Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then just random this Ubisoft Quebec is the one that's been working on it. Why the one in Quebec? In Quebec, like why them and not the one in Montreal? But at the same time, like why is Montreal not? Why is it staying out of this one? How should we take that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or is there hope for Ubisoft in the future? Probably not, but
they did get their first chance at their first mainline Assassin's Creed game with Syndicate, which didn't exactly sell well, but this was less due to the quality of Syndicate and more so because Unity, if you guys remember, was such.
This looks a lot like one of the Sherlock Holmes games I've played.
Less due to the quality of Syndicate.
But I guess the Assassin's Creed was in that era, around the same era. Yeah, 1827.
Syndicate, and more so because Unity, if you guys remember, was such a busted release that it actually killed the momentum for the franchise and it affected Syndicate's sales too. And then this obviously got fixed once the next game came out, which was Origins. But weird that both mainline Assassin's Creed games...
It's a strain called Glass Slipper
that Ubisoft Quebec has worked on have duo protagonists in both games. And it's not working very well in Syndicate, in my opinion, and so far previews are saying that Yasuke is the weaker character in every way here in terms of variety and such too. Also, my source...
Wait, is he's the weaker character compared to like all Assassin's Creed games? Or they probably are saying all the Assassin's Creed games, dude is like slow and supposed to be strong, right? But it's like so less assassin and just, well, he's not an assassin, he's a samurai. But why is he in an Assassin's Creed game? I don't know. But anyway, you know what I mean.
Source told me that...
Brian, I am twice baked and then set on the hot top of a black car in the scorching heat in the desert, and then removed from that, baked again, thrown into the sun, came back down. Here I am. What's good?
And I didn't even know this, but Kim Belair, yeah, the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., she actually worked on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, not as a Sweet Baby consultant as far as we can tell, but as an actual writer at Ubisoft. I then looked this up and lo and behold, she did work on Valhalla and the expansions. But
okay, so Valhalla was praised to be like one of the better Assassin's Creed games. So maybe she does have talent like writing for stories and shit. It's just that when she tries to force inject her woke agenda into the game, then shit gets messy. Maybe like she should just stick to regular writing and not force her opinion or force her beliefs into media for the public to consume.
But she's credited as Kimberly Belair instead, starting to make sense why Valhalla had really bad pacing and writing when I played it. My source also told me that Kim Belair's girlfriend worked on Valhalla as well, and Kim Belair was frequently found on the Ubisoft floors walking around and being a part of development for Valhalla. She also had a desk and everything that I'm told when Valhalla was being made. My source also told me there was a ridiculous amount of lesbian and feminist-leaning people on the writing team for games like Valhalla. And anytime internally someone referred to the player as he or as a male in general, these lesbian feminist devs would correct you instantly and demand that you refer to the player as she, he, but always put emphasis on ensuring that the she pronoun came before the male pronoun.
Oh my god. Hey yo, if you're gonna man hate, you better man hate all the way, right? Do that shit all the way. The she, you better call that character she, he, and the she has to come before the he. You make sure the she is emphasized before the he. Women come first in this bitch. Hey yo, she was super pissed. It's like people probably got annoyed working with her. I was like, hey, yo, kick this bitch out the fucking writing team. And so that's when she went to Sweet Baby or whatever. That's hilarious.
Always internally when discussing things. Kim Belair would leave after Valhalla was done, and then I was told that Kim made sure that she got people hired that she vetted for that stayed at Ubisoft to, well, enact her will, so to speak, at the company as she left. As I was told, if you were white, you basically walk on eggshells constantly at any Ubisoft studio. However, if you're gay,
Yeah, that's just like straight up, just kind of like blatant racism. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people be like, you can't be racist to white people. Like, yes, you can, because white is a race as well. Like, it's a race of people, and even they're from different like countries and shit. It's still like a race of people, and so you can be racist towards them, just like you can be racist towards black people, Asian people, any type of person, whatever, or race. But to just straight up make white people in the office uncomfortable enough that they have to walk on eggshells around everything they say or do around these woke liberal people, that's gotta be fucking annoying, bruh. Like, shit. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'd be pissed.
black, or anything but white pretty much, you seem to only fail upwards, which according to my source is very frustrating for all the other employees who actually do their jobs. Apparently, internally too, these feminist devs were very angry when they found out that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, that players were overwhelmingly choosing the male options over the female ones that are considered the canon options. And if you want to know why female Ivor is canon, yeah, it all comes back to Kim Belair and Sweet Baby, unfortunately. Exact numbers that I was given was around 70% of players chose Alexios in Odyssey over Cassandra, and 65% of players chose male Eivor over that of female Eivor. This frustrated developers internally, the feminist ones I mean, who are all left-leaning woke activists by the way. So this is why they opted, as I'm told by my source, to ensure that Naoe was not able to change her gender in the game.
Bro, that's they got so pissed that dudes that their audience, which is mostly male, wanted to put themselves in the game and have the character that's like them running around destroying shit instead of some feminine character and doing that shit. They were so pissed that dudes were picking male characters that they said, this female character here, this shit right here, nigga, this bitch can't change, has no male counterpart. She can't change genders. Take that, trans community. This bitch can't change genders. Oh, that's funny. That was made by woke people, though. But anyway, so they restricted the gender change of this female assassin. I mean, personally, I don't really care because like a female assassin, yeah, they might not have more power and strength, but they are more nimble. So they, you know what I'm saying, they can do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Especially since she's like more like a Kenoichi ninja. But it's still hilarious that Ubisoft was like, hey, nah, she can't change genders.
Genuinely wanted to force players into playing a female shinobi over a male one deliberately. And it was for no other reason than because that they were jealous and angry that despite their efforts, that the male versions were still evidently far more popular. Wild, right?
That's funny.
Sorry, by the way, if I'm bouncing around all over these, Assassin's Creed games, but man, there's a lot to cover. So let's now go over some Yasuke stuff that I was told before I get into Hex next. So as I was told by my source, the Yasuke removal stuff is smoke and mirrors according to them. Apparently, and again take this part with a grain of salt, but this person is very tied to a lot of stuff going on there, they said that Ubisoft has actually not removed much of any of the content about Yasuke in-game. But instead, they are simply lying about it to make it seem like they're listening to players' feedback. My insider told me that Ubisoft apparently has no plans to remake the Yasuke content, because they feel as if they do, they will be seen as bending the knee, so to speak, to the online haters. So the idea here, according to my insider, is to lie about removing content to trick people into buying the game thinking that they change their ways. And yes, if you're a frequent watcher of the channel, you know that I've told you guys months ago how this was what my other insider told me would be the new meta going forward.
Yep. I was just about to say, I was just about to talk about that because he said that Ubisoft's new meta going forward, that the insiders told him that they would hide all the woke content past a certain point in the game, in which once you reach that point, you're not you're apparently not able to return the game anymore. So you would be stuck with it. While and the only way you got to that point is because you thought this game was safe from the wokies, safe from the woke content and the wokies and their ideology injection into the content. But yeah, nah, it was gonna be just kind of smoke and mirrors. Just wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Got them, coach. And now they don't even know. They don't even know. They're already into the woke section and they can't return the game, so they win. But yeah, that's kind of, it's a messed up strategy in my opinion. It's fucked up to hide shit from your audience that you know they should know about before you go and try to sell them something. But hey, man, when companies get greedy, companies be greedy, and they want to feel like they are correct. They want to feel like they won. They want to feel like they have been right this entire time. They want to feel vindicated. And so they'll do what they can, even if it means the underhanded tricks of hiding content past a certain point in the game before they spring that trap on you. It's messed up, bro. But let's get back to it.
Lie about changes, gaslight players into believing that they won, and then sell them a product that features all the things they loathe and then change nothing and then cash it at the bank. But yes, as I'm told, it's a marketing ploy designed to trick players into believing that Ubisoft has changed when they haven't at all. Also, I asked my source about the alleged Assassin's Creed 1 remake, and they told me that yeah, it's happening, it's in development right now. But according to them, the reason why it's being made is because Ubisoft is doing that giant hub concept, AC Infinity it's called. The idea is that you have this one portal app that opens the player to all of the experiences within Assassin's Creed. Call of Duty is doing this as well with recent releases too, how you can play, Black Ops 6, Warzone, etc., all from the same launcher.
I don't hate on Call of Duty or nothing, but literally isn't it all the same game? I mean, maybe different locations, different guns, same shit. Technically, you can break that down to like all shooters being the same because it's just different locations, different characters, different guns doing the same shit. I mean, I don't mind it. I be playing Apex all the time. I be trying to get back into Call of Duty, but I just haven't had the chance or the motivation to. But yeah, maybe one day. We'll see.
It's the same idea, but imagine you just click on an Assassin's Creed game and boom, you're in it, and then you can drop out and go into another game into a new timeline. As I'm told, Ubisoft's ambitious plan here doesn't stop at just the first game being remade. Listen to this. As my source told me, they're remaking everything, game by game, all the way up until Origins. So to clarify, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, and I guess Mirage, will not be remade in the future. But Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, 4, well 4 we know is being remade right now and should release either this year or next. And this would also include stuff like Unity, and maybe even Syndicate will also be remade, so they can all release looking and I guess playing similarly, so when you launch this Infinity app, you can just jump into whichever game and it's all seamless. So yeah, you heard that right, multiple remakes. I don't know about the smaller games like the China.
I mean, that low-key sounds pretty good, but it just sucks that most of their Assassin's Creed games are just trash. Like there are some good ones, yeah, just like Assassin's Creed Valhalla was apparently one of the good ones, and obviously the first Assassin's Creed was great, which is why it started this whole franchise. But yeah, a lot of them are trash though, aren't they? So it would be great if they were all great games, but hearing about it's just like, I don't know if I want to waste money buying that hub thing or however it's supposed to be set up, and just to play Assassin's Creed 1 remake, whatever.
One or the Russian one or the one with Adeline, I don't know about those ones. But they just told me that the mainline ones will be remade, so no idea if they'll make them like Valhalla and add RPG elements, or if they will just do a more streamlined action-adventure pure remake, but there you go. They're remaking everything, fellas. Well, if they don't go bankrupt, that is, I guess. I did ask if there were any murmurings of new settings or games that are post-Shadows and Hex. As of right now, the answer is no. Apparently Hex or Hexy, however you say it, is in development hell. The game doesn't even have solid gameplay features yet. It's more of a concept that is still struggling to find its foothold, but from what I'm told, the game will, yes, star a single female character. Because again, the feminists are butthurt there that you guys keep playing as men over the female options. Hex was described to me as a German medieval era game with people being prosecuted for witchcraft and such. There is a
Well, if you make a good game that isn't focused on forced woke inclusion and it has a female character, and nobody's gonna care if the main character is female. The game will be, if the game is good, the game will be good and people will play it. Build it and they will come. Build it or code it or whatever, and they will play. Like that's just how it is. You don't have to focus on it being woke. So I'm okay with Assassin's Creed Hex being having a female character being the main focus, but if there's more about it, like that forces either some type of man hate or misandry, then I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna waste my money on it. I'm not gonna support that. Watch something that like, damn, why do I want to say something about if the game had like only female characters, like, and then it's because the area is like no men allowed. If it's some shit like that, I ain't playing that, bro. Like no lie, bro.
Map apparently at Ubisoft that details all of their potential ideas for this Hex game. But as my source told me, the world that they're creating with Hex is actually very beautiful and striking to the eyes.
Okay.
One of the locations in game was described to me as a beautiful Gothic medieval German city.
That sounds
with
cool.
Dark corners aplenty and small shops that are littered throughout.
They
don't
cool.
know which German city would be implemented in the game, but it would be set in Germany apparently to some degree. But I was also told that Hex will steer away from the vastness of, say, Valhalla. Instead, my insider told me, the best comparison right now to Hex is Metro Exodus. So if you didn't play Metro Exodus, first of all, great game. You should play all the Metro games, they're awesome.
Okay.
But anyway, Metro Exodus has you journeying via a train through these linear but also semi-open zones as the story progresses. You explore these smaller regions which have, items to find, monsters to kill, and stories to uncover.
Okay.
And eventually, once you do whatever the main quest line is at the time, you leave that area behind and then move on to the next one. This is what they want to do with Hex, as I'm being told. My insider doesn't know if Ubisoft...
So it wouldn't be open world? I don't know if a linear, semi-open game, Assassin's Creed style game would work. I don't know. I mean, it obviously is. It's definitely different. There may be potential. Just because it's different doesn't mean it will be bad. But I don't know if I like that. Like I rather just especially in a German Gothic type style Assassin's Creed game. That sounds dope if it was if it would be open world. But linear and somewhat open might work. They might be able to make it work. I don't know.
Ubisoft would allow the player to return to these areas after passing them by. But yeah, they don't want the game to be like Valhalla or even Odyssey, where it's just, big and open. The idea is tighter level design, think more so old school Prince of Persia, kind of, but still open enough that you will have options running around fighting stuff, etc. And the game will feature what my source called magic. And the idea internally for all Assassin's Creed games in general, as I'm told, is that Ubisoft wants to move away more so from having their games in this franchise be grounded historical things like the previous ones, and instead be far more fantastical and magic based going forward. Yes.
I mean, that's no problem. I have no problem with that. Just don't use the name Assassin's Creed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, start a whole nother line of games, a whole nother franchise, but that's based on this fantastical stuff. You don't have to use Assassin's Creed name to do it. Like, I get you're trying to just draw fans towards that type of style with the popular Assassin's Creed type name. But if you just make if you just make a great game with that style in mind, that doesn't feel like it's being any wokeness is being forced injected into it, build it and it'll come. Code it and they will play. It'll be fine. You don't have to use the Assassin's Creed name to do it. Just to hope, to draw in a bigger crowd. You might draw in a crowd that is like, the Assassin's Creed series, I know what they've been doing with that shit lately. That might be trash. And then I even think about it again. So, whatever.
I know that all the games have issue artifacts, but the best comparison that I was being described to is how Odyssey had, Cyclopses and Medusa and all of that. Ubisoft wants more fantastical elements in these games, and Hex is meant to blow the doors off, so to speak, and turn this series into a borderline fantasy game almost. I have no idea if you will fight stuff like...
Just take the Assassin's Creed part out of it and call it Hex. Just call it straight up Hex. Not Assassin's Creed Hex. Just call it straight up Hex. Go hard on the level design of the linear semi-open shit. Make the game super fun and the area super the map super interesting and everything's just epic. Don't force woke inclusion. Just do your thing. I bet it could be a great game.
I don't know, werewolves or something or whatever, but they could probably just say that the issue experimented with the genes of animals with humans like they did in Odyssey to explain it away. But the idea overall is to have a fantastical, more linear-based, smaller zone, Metro Exodus-like experience, but it's still Assassin's Creed. Do you guys think that's a good idea? Let me know in the comments, because again, this game, as I'm told, is struggling really badly behind the scenes and not a lot of progress has been made with it. My insider said that the reason that development has been so slow on Hex is because a large portion of the team working on it have been moved onto Shadows in order to fix it because, as my source put it, that game is really effed up behind the scenes. So Ubisoft is throwing everything that they can to fix Shadows, so as for when Hex comes out, there is no release date right now. It's just delayed beyond any measure, and it's basically just due to Shadows being ass behind the scenes, to be real with you. My insider also said that the upper management at Ubisoft is completely out of touch with both what the devs and players want these days. It's very hard to convey any ideas or talk sense into the people at the top at Ubisoft, and they called Ubisoft in general a leftist echo chamber to the max.
How can you be people in charge of a company, of a group of people, and yet your people can't sync with you? You know what I'm saying? They can't mesh with you. Isn't that just gonna make for a terrible company? Like, your communication will always be off. Your wants and needs and desires will never be correctly translated. It's just bad look.
You cannot bring up stuff like Trump or Pierre Poilievre, the conservative guy that's running for prime minister in Canada, in case you don't know, because it's all seen as sacrilegious at Ubisoft because he's not a liberal nor is Trump, and that's a big no-no, I guess. I was also told there's one female...
Well, Trump is a straight white male, so yeah, that's why it's a big no-no. Duh.
Employee, at least at Ubisoft, who is hell to work with.
Oh, great.
As I'm told, this female employee lies aplenty and threatens to ruin other male devs' careers if they don't agree to sleep with her. And human resources in general refuses to do anything about this problem because the entirety of HR is unsurprisingly full of women who are pro Me Too and see this woman as a victim instead of being a predator.
Record the interactions with her, put that shit online, and let the backlash hit.
And this female employee is...
Because if even HR is not listening, what else are you gonna do, right? Just have to deal with it and be threatened for this bitch to get you in trouble if you don't sleep with her. That's low. Well, high key, that's grape. Like, that's a crime, bitch. The fuck?
is apparently just threatening and coaxing people into sleeping with her. And my insider said that everyone at Ubisoft that works there, they just try to steer clear of this nutcase, which is wild. But there you go, guys. There's a sex predator, I guess, at Ubisoft that will ruin your career if you don't drop your pants, allegedly. And this female employee apparently...
Yo, she trying to rack up that body count, bruh. Like, she trying to get to them triple, quadruple digits, bro. That's fucking nasty, bro. You might want to test her. You know what I'm saying? You might want to double, triple wrap up before she forces you to have sex.
Apparently has blackmail on people, and this is why she hasn't been dealt with, which is, well, that's a problem, all right. I understand that this female employee has nothing to do with the whole Ubisoft leak stuff that I'm talking about, but my insider was very frustrated and wanted people to know, so there you go. Now everyone knows. They also said that it's borderline impossible to pitch new ideas for games, and that all the game ideas come from upper management only. So if you have a cool idea,
lame.
They don't want to hear it. The DEI initiatives at Ubisoft are also the real killer that's rotting out the company. I also asked if Assassin's Creed will ever go into modern day, and my insider firmly stated that the probability is close to 0. The reason being is that Ubisoft higher-ups never want the games to feature actual guns that are efficient and stuff like, cars. However, stuff like muskets and such are fine.
I mean, it doesn't have to have guns, right? Just because it's modern day. I mean, yeah, I guess your character doesn't have to use guns, but like maybe some random side characters will be trying to use them against you, or random enemies will be trying to use them against you. But like your character can fucking like be a modern day ninja running through the streets of New York or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It might be interesting.
Because they are in AC3, but they're not as reliable, so they're seen as being an okay thing to add. But they do want to firmly stay in the past with this franchise, so if you wanted a World War II Assassin's Creed game anytime soon, it's likely not happening, sorry. Ubisoft has also lost around 1,000 employees at Ubisoft Montreal over the years, bringing their dev count from 4,000 to 3,000 over there. As I'm told, this was mostly...
And remember, Ubisoft Montreal is the only Ubisoft Ubisoft Montreal is the Ubisoft that did not have a hand in making Assassin's Creed Shadows, whereas they did participate in making all the other Assassin's Creed games. I feel like there's something there. There's something there to explore. Like there's a reason for that, I guess.
Because Ubisoft forced work from home hires to come in, and it ruined morale. And they also implemented dozens of DEI policies that ended up driving out a lot of senior talent from Montreal. Again,
man, the whole movement of forcing workers back into the office after the CVID spread of that dis-ease. Is that the best I can say it? Anyway, it kind of sucks that after that people were forced to go back into the office, but like the management and everything, the owners, they were paying for that office space for it to be very little used, so to get like very little use out of it. So they didn't want to waste that money. I mean, as well. Even if it ruins morale, get these workers back in the office. That sucks.
Again, reminder, this is their flagship studio that has now lost 1,000 employees over the years. Most of these people weren't even fired, they just kind of left out of frustration. Now, let's get into Far Cry 7. My insider confirmed that yes, the game has a 24-hour in-game timer. Okay. At one point, the game was meant to have a female protagonist only, which was described internally as a John McClane type. Yeah, die hard, but a woman was the pitch because, again, female activists. And the initial idea for the game, and no, I'm not kidding, was that the game would open with you and your family at some sort of party, and then a group of pro-Trump, pro-gun, anti-vax conservative terrorists would show up and kidnap your family. This idea was somewhat canned internally.
All these straight white males and their colored friends and all these gosh darn pro-gun, anti-vax, blah 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 men. Shame on them. They're the enemies. They're the ones that bust up in your house and kidnap you. Bro, chill with that shit, bro. Chill.
Some point, and the whole female John McClane character was fully removed. So now, as I'm told, Far Cry 7 only has a sole male protagonist that you can now play as.
Okay.
My insider also said that IGN was false in their claim, where they reported that the game would take place on an island in China. The only part that they got right apparently about the game's setting was that it was on an island. But the game is instead 100% set in the United States, not.
So why lie about that though? What do you get from that?
China. I'm told that the game gives you plenty of choices as to who you can save from your family or not, but it is impossible to save every single family member currently in one single playthrough. Now, I don't know if in repeated playthroughs if you can save them all, though. Also, the conservative angle for the main villain is apparently still in the game, so that will probably piss people off for sure. But there's some twist that I'm told in the story where people are.
Of course, the conservative viewpoint has to be the enemy. It's funny to me. I don't even like politics, but I'm guessing most conservatives, or at least the conservatives in power, are probably going to be straight white men. And there's like anti-straight white male movement slightly going on. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's right next. It moves on in correspondence with the pretty much the hate all men movement. You know, that kind of feminism, ultra instinct feminism movement.
Revealed to not be who they say they are.
One
of the concepts that Far Cry 7 is pushing on the player is that the bad guys could actually be the good guys all along. So I straight up just asked if the twist was like the game is some weird science fiction time loop gobbledygook, and my insider said no, it's definitely not. All they told me is that you know that Far Cry loves having drugs in them, and that's all they would say. So no sci-fi elements. So
instead, everybody in the dev's office that was making this was on drugs?
Expect the game to be some crazy, insane, time-gated thing with drugs and saving people and killing other people that are apparently conservatives that may actually be the good guys all along. But my insider said that the game is very grounded in gameplay and world. I tried to ask who the, main actor they got for the game's main villain is, but they said that the identity is very well protected and they didn't want to reveal it because Ubisoft will probably blow a gasket if they do. But in terms of leaks, I think that's everything that they told me. My insider did say that Shadows is likely cooked no matter what, and they think if the game didn't have Yasuke in it, people wouldn't care as much about the historical inaccuracies.
Probably. Because he is like the main historical inaccuracy, the main controversial one. But also like people don't want. You have to remember this when this was being made or whatever, or the concept was coming up, or the decision was made to make a black male character as the protagonist, the main character in a Japanese location-based Assassin's Creed game. The reason for that idea was because this game development started during the like George Floyd era, and like where the Black Lives Matter movement started happening. So even though they based this game in Japan, they said, fuck this, we're going to, force inclusion and make the character a gay black male because the Black Lives Matter movement is big for now. Even though it's based in Japan. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't approve of it. I don't agree with it. Because like I said before plenty of times, if there was an Assassin's Creed based in Africa or something like that, and the main character was a white guy, I'd feel some type of way. I'm just saying.
According to them, Valhalla is full of inaccurate items in the world and nobody seemed to care, so they're probably right about that. But don't expect me to go through Valhalla now to look for these inaccuracies, by the way, but there you go. Oh, yeah. Also, Ubisoft was going to make a Prince of Persia game in the style of Shadow of the Colossus years ago, but it got canned. But apparently, this build still exists on some devs' Xbox dev kits, so there's another game that you guys never got. And
That
Ubisoft
sucks.
was also making a game about 15 years ago that was pretty much just Starfield, but it was called Pioneer. And it was in development hell and eventually got cancelled. And I'm told that game's dev time led to a lot of burnout, depression, and a super toxic environment internally. The last thing that they asked me to tell people is to try to not be too hateful online and don't ruin the image of Gamergate 2 in general by spewing hate in every direction. Try to reel it in and be more objective. That's what they wanted to say, so there you go. But thanks to my
Be nice.
insider for all this information. I know it's a lot. What do you think about all of this? Let me know in the comments. Now there's other news. Firstly, the situation surrounding Shadows is not going well. We all know this. Key creatives, however, involved with this game have been ruining the reputation and that of the Assassin's Creed franchise with this newest entry. But now we can confirm that yet another person has decided to run away as the release date gets closer, that being the lead writer for Shadows. This lead writer goes by Mossinmind on Twitter and was very vocal about the upcoming release of Shadows. She got a lot of flack for plenty of reasons, but as you can see here, we all have this lead writer ecstatic that she's working on Shadows. But people were quick to point out way back then that she was also following Sweet Baby Inc. on Twitter. I would say don't harass her, which yes, you should never do. However, it turns out she has completely deleted her Twitter account already.
She ran away.
But it is weird to see the lead writer of a mainline Assassin's Creed game like this just nuking their public profile prior to release. But I guess the situation surrounding the game has gotten so dire that everyone who has worked on this thing is trying to distance themselves from it, as I clearly already explained with all the leaks that I was told behind the scenes.
And right before it comes out, they want to make sure, like, hey, nope, I was over here. You know, I quit before that game came out. I had nothing to do with it. All the while, the whole time, they were completely involved in it. You cheeky bastards.
Also, there's this YouTuber guy called The Hidden One, who, as their name implies, they do Assassin's Creed content. I got blocked by this person on Twitter, even though I never once interacted with them to my knowledge. Anyway, they have been attacking people like crazy who are against Shadows.
They probably saw one of your videos or saw a clip or saw somebody reacting to one of your videos and was like, oh, fuck that guy.
Don't harass this guy, by the way. I mean, he's a dummy, sure, but let's just look at what he said. Here's what he posted that made me raise an eyebrow. Here's a gif of Yasuke kicking the F out of a Japanese NPC. I love it. Hey, Hidden One guy, why are you so excited that Yasuke is killing Japanese people in Shadows? That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Exactly why I wouldn't like it if Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft made an Assassin's Creed game based in Africa and the white guy was the main character. That shit ain't cool, bruh. That shit ain't cool.
I mean, I know that you're upset because Shadows is getting roasted on the daily and it's, earned, but okay. But do you think it's in your best interest to vilify Japanese people like this? It's very bizarre behavior on your part, man. You shouldn't be saying stuff like this because we both know that if it was black people being massacred, you would never say something like this, but this is somehow okay.
No, he might, because he might be a white guy that doesn't like black people or Asian people, and so even if he has to play as a black person, as long as he's harassing the Asian people, he's cool with it.
I would say I'm disappointed in you, but you probably hear that often already, but don't do this, man. Be better than this. Especially if your whole brand is Assassin's Creed, why would you want to get people upset and get a whole region of that, fan base out there hating you for views? It's not worth it. I just wanted to bring this to people's attention. This Hidden One guy doesn't need to unblock me, that's fine. I just found his response here to be disappointing, but I think this is plenty. From all of the leaks and the other things, what do you guys think about all of this? Let me know. Thank you for watching, subscribe, take care of yourselves everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I don't like how they're actually, well, I guess it's not surprisingly, but they are actually trying to hide the woke content past a certain point in the game in which there is no return. So I don't like that. I prefer shit be upfront and real. And if you don't like the outcome, then that's your fault. I mean, you can't make the masses change their mind. You can't force that shit. Sometimes you just gotta, give them what they want, even if you don't feel it's fair. Fuck. That's all I can say. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And also, don't forget to visit ENDYMIONtv. Link to the channel and link to the video that we just watched will both be in the description below. And while you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things that I like to ask you to do. And like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.